Hey everyone. Had technical difficulties yesterday, so I missed a day here. We'll make it up because I promised a fight a day minimum. Uh, Big fight again today. Another rewatch. AJ versus Usyk. Usyk. However, it's said. It should be said. Forgive me for butchering. Um, Big fight. Uh, a rematch. A rewatch of a rematch. Um, Yeah, let's get to it, right? Uh, no such thing as too much boxing. Um, Big fight, big fan of the heavyweight division. Yeah, what else can be said? I'll be scoring. I'll be live scoring. Talking about the fight. Let's kick it off. Um, uh, how many fights start, right? Trying to establish yourself in the center of the ring. AJ looks good. Looks in shape. Usyk looks good as well. Hopefully my window doesn't freeze here too long. There we go. Uh, I'm a big fan of the white ropes. I usually see this in the UK. Saw it in the Fury Klitschko fight. I love the white ropes. I just think it as a spectator, anyways, it just adds some clarity. I think it looks a little better than the red, white, and blue that we usually do in the U.S. So yeah, I mean, look, it's more or less an even first round. AJ is trying to establish himself uh, early on in the fight. Usyk knows he needs to do the same. Usyk, you see, a lot of good activity here. He's doing his jabs, he's doing his feints. AJ looks to also want to be active with his jab. This is a lot of movement for AJ, in my opinion. Not the most mobile guy. But he should be conditioned, right? He should be conditioned. He's a world class fighter. He's a world class athlete. Um, I would say conditioning's not a strong suit. That true fighting conditioning, anyways. I tend to see him tire a lot, but could just be my perception. So I see Usyk more active in this first round. I see good looks from AJ. I like what he's doing. Um, he's not relinquishing the center of the ring. He's kind of just content to throw his jab, use a little head movement, reposition himself. Um, Usyk's just doing a little bit more. He's doubling up this jab. He's putting the two behind it. That's a good shot. It's an interesting little body combination. Um, Love the pep in your step. AJ has power, right? He has power, but uh, I like to describe him as a fighter who's fundamentally sound, but he's not exceptional, right? He doesn't do anything crazy good. He's just like a good package, a good fundamental fighter. Um, this is something, the way Usyk closed out that round is something that I rarely see AJ do, right? The lateral movement is not usually there with him. Um, and I expect to see a lot of that. Usyk using his smaller frame, his mobility, his speed, um, to keep AJ guessing. So I'm gonna give that round to Usyk. Uh, Pretty even round. I could see someone giving it maybe to AJ. It for every jab AJ was throwing, Usyk throws two more. Right? I felt through the majority of that round. So that's a good shot right there. Usyk's always doing something different with his hair, with his style. Again, boxing's fighting. Boxing's also entertainment. I want to see that swagger in the ring. I want to see it. I love it. More of the same. See, this is the conundrum again, and I think I brought this up in the last fight I did. Uh, AJ will take the center of the ring, establishes himself, but you got to do more than that, right? You can't just sit there, right? Especially against the guy who will be active. Usyk is known for his volume, for his activity. See, we've gone like 25 seconds without AJ throwing a punch, a meaningful punch, right? You can't do that against Usyk, right? I understand Usyk is not the busiest fighter right now, but you never know when that judge is going to count the long feint as a punch or something, right? I mean, just like be um, appear in control, be in control. Rematches are interesting to me because do you pick up where you left off, right? Is it really round 13, 14? Or is it completely different? Do you really become a drastically different fighter? Right now, I see, I don't see surprises so far. I think we know who Usyk is. We know who AJ is. That's a good shot. See, it's the fearlessness too, right? Because as Usyk, you know AJ has power, right? It's one of the few. He's like wilder in that way, right? It's like, yeah, we can talk about his flaws all day, but uh, he still has that power, right? I mean, just because you have porous defense doesn't mean I want to take your shot, right? So it's kind of understated sometimes, but like to sit there in the pocket against the puncher and just come straight at him with a hard jab, with an educated jab, as they say, it takes balls too, because even for a jab, you're if he counters you right, you're stepping into it. You know what I mean? Good punches from AJ there. More though, right? I want to see more. Like that's a good body shot. Like it's like AJ wants to counter him. I don't know that can be your game plan all night. I don't know that I like that as your game plan all night. I'm gonna give this round to Usyk as well because, like the same round, he just did a little bit more than AJ. Right? Um, right now, AJ just seems content with sitting in the center of the ring when he can, moving his head a little bit, throwing that body shot or the two shots to the body. Uh, round one, sure, but after that, you got to pick it up. That's a good shot right there. I think it's the best punch AJ's thrown this so far. And it's a textbook punch, right? It's beautiful. It's textbook. It's sound. Uh, but that's it, right? Like he didn't follow it up. And look at how Usyk just jumps right out, though. He comes right out to reestablish himself. Another thing I love that what Usyk's doing right now is they miss each other a little bit. I like to focus on economical movement, right? If you're going to move around, if you're going to bounce around, are you being are you adding value to your fight, right? Um, Everything I've seen from Usyk right here in 40 seconds, everything he's doing, it's not meaningless movement, right? Like moving, if I'm going to move, if I'm going to slip, if I'm going to start moving laterally as a way to make you tentative, he's doing it not just laterally, but he's doing it at angles, right? Where And that's the proper way. That's how I was taught to slip too, right? Is if I go left, I'm not just going left, I'm going left and forward, right? So why, right? Two things. One, because you you aren't sacrificing your stability in your stance, but also because he brings you closer to your opponent, right? Like if I come forward when I slip, I'm that much closer to hit you with a hook, go to the body. Maybe I want to just pivot out like Lomachenko was doing the other night, right? Um, Compare that with AJ, right? Who will sit in the center of the ring and he'll do a little left, right. You know, he'll bob his head a little bit. But I mean that unless you're throwing jabs and you're, you know, unless you're slipping at the time of the punches being thrown, I mean, you're not really doing anything, right? Like at least in AJ's case, if you don't throw when he slips, he's still repositioning himself, right? So everything has purpose. All the feints that he's throwing, um, he's allowing himself to move forward, right? He's creating openings for himself, right? And then when you combine that with the pep in your step, you're bouncing around a little bit, like it just creates a situation for your opponent where he's just like he gets lulled to sleep, right? He all of a sudden doesn't really know if you're just going to keep slipping and trying to pop at him from angles, or if you're literally going to go beyond that and you're going to do a greater move, distance yourself, you're going to pivot your way around. I mean, there's boxing and there's boxing, right? The other thing he's doing is he's slightly changing his levels, and he does this a lot. I love that because you don't know if he's going to really change levels or if he's just bouncing around, right? But he knows, right? So he can build off of that, right? You do it a couple times, I lull you to sleep, right? Bah bah bah. You throw a couple shots in there, or just move it, use it to get out of there, right? It's awesome when you see a guy's wheels turning, right? When he's like executing a game plan, but also it's like an orchestra, right? It's like what's that guy that stands in front of the music? Like a conductor, right? He's like the conductor, and everything he does, the fight that follows, is like the orchestra, the symphony, whatever. Um, it's just beautiful to watch. So again, I'm gonna give that round to Usyk again, just a little bit more. Um, and same as the other night in Lomachenko's fight, it's not AJ's just not doing enough. He just needs to build on what he's doing. I want to see more punches, and I want to see more ring generalship. Right? Again, like ring generalship is not just like let me stand in the center of the ring. It's am I in control of the ring and am I in control of the fight? Um, See, now I'm seeing, AJ's coming forward a little bit. So now you force Usyk to do something, right? Like you come forward, you throw something, you show something different, right? I love that. Um, One fighter brings the fight out of the other, right? I mean, and that's good too, right? I mean, both guys, they're like, I'm not going to be pushed back. You're not pushing me back. I'm not pushing you back. We're going to, settle it right here. A war of attrition. See, Usyk is missing with a lot of these shots too. They're not landing flush, uh, but they still count. That's a great shot right there. See, again, you throw your jab, you throw it again. What's the purpose of this jab? The purpose of this jab is not to hit your opponent hard. It's to blind your opponent. He's about to do it again. Watch. AJ's not going to let him. See, AJ doesn't want to be hit by that again. So what? See, he was smart and he threw a punch back at the right time this time. If you know you don't want to get hit by a shot that you just got hit with, two choices: you jump on your bicycle, as they say, or do exactly what AJ did, put something together. Right? A combination doesn't have to be meant to hurt your opponent. But if I'm throwing against you, you're probably not throwing back unless you're a savage, right? And if you're a savage, then that's a whole different fight you're in. But Usyk he's sound enough, right? I don't want to go into a rant, and I'll go into this a different day, but there's fighters who are fundamentally sound and thus predictable. There's also fighters who are fundamentally sound but are willing to break away from the fundamentals. Um, I say Usyk is the former. Maybe I'll change my mind on that, but he's someone who I know what to expect generally because he's textbook, right? Um, and I think AJ in that same vein is very textbook, but more to his detriment. AJ, 9 times out of 10, you know exactly what he's going to do. Doesn't mean you won't, doesn't mean you'll survive what he's going to do, but you know what he's going to do. Usyk now and then will surprise you a little bit more, but you still generally have a good idea of what he's going to do. He's not like Mayorga, or Fury or someone who's just like, you don't know what's going to happen, right? I'm going to give that round to AJ, and I could probably give it to Usyk. But I finally saw more from AJ. I saw him come forward. I saw him land a few more shots. I saw him do a few. What a shot, though. That's such a beautiful shot. The confidence to just put it right through his guard, right? I already kind of regret my decision, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to give him this round right here. I'm going to give him this round. Even though every single highlight was like, you don't know what you're talking about. All right. We pick up just as we've been going, right? I mean, look, Usyk's got a good work rate. He's still throwing his feints. That's a good shot. He just reminded me of De La Hoya with that one. I love that shot. With swagger, too. Bah, bring it back. You bring it back, but you bring it back, letting it linger just a split second. Just give it a little bit of style points with it. You don't want to linger too much, but step in with that jab, come back with that jab. It's like ballet almost. Just be graceful with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Have some grace. That's a good shot from AJ. That's a good attempt. I mean, again, if those land flush, the man has power. Another thing I don't like about AJ is he stands up. Like the way he's standing right now, if he were to eat a sledgehammer, he would go down like a sack of potatoes. That looked like a body. Yeah, that looked. Ooh. I don't know if that was really. I don't know. We'll see this again. The nut shot. I don't like when a fighter stands up, like, flex your knees, bend your knees. Everybody does it to a different extent, I guess, but like, you're not in a good stance if you don't have kind of that slight flex in your knees, right? Don't lock your knees out. Some of it's because you're tired. Some of it can be when you're tired. And I think AJ started the fight really well. He was in a good stance. He looked really good. But right now, if when Usyk's like not on top of him, he seems to just straighten up, and I think he's kind of resting. It's a way of resting because I mean, let's face it. When you're in a good stance, you're working your thighs. Like, see, this is good work from AJ right now. See, not the most effective, but again, anything's better than nothing when it comes to activity. Uh, that's a good shot. See, he's coming in. He's moving well. If you're fighting a guy who you know is faster than you, uh, and I think AJ can do this more, and I don't really know what to call it. even because when I was shown how to do this, I was just literally just shown how to do this. But like, start cutting in, right? Like, start jumping in and cutting in. Like, it's like a four movement advance, right? Left, right, left, right. But where you end up either left or right of your opponent, right? And you're just kind of like moving at a, you're like, you're darting in, right? Um, it's kind of like cutting off the ring. It's the same thing you would do if you cut off the ring, except you're not cutting off the ring as much as you're just trying to like immediately close the distance indirectly, right? Almost like you're, what's that piece on a chessboard? Whatever. But do that quick, ba ba ba, right, to get close to him, right? Because while you're dashing in, he's almost always gonna either quickly try and counter the movement, or he's gonna brace for impact, right? And like, especially if you haven't been tagging him, right? It's perfectly normal for a guy to be like, all right, let's see what he's got. Let him throw a couple at me, right? But if you just quickly ba 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 come in real fast, all of a sudden you're right there, right? So if you've had trouble keeping up with a guy, close that distance super fast, and then you're right there again. Like, what else do you want, right? I mean, bah, dig into the body, come up with the uppercut. Those are good shots. I'm gonna give that last round to AJ as well. I feel I'm being kind of generous on that, and I know for a fact I scored this fight differently the first time I watched it. Nothing wrong with that though. I may score it differently the third time I watch it. This is a good round right here. Both of these guys came out the gate throwing. Well, all right, that's maybe painting it a little dramatically, but like, no, I mean they elevated their work rate, right? It doesn't look like Usyk's lost a step like through the fight. He still looks crisp. AJ looks good too. Whenever I don't see him standing up on his locking his knees out like a stork, he looks good. But problem is, you can't just look good. You have to win the fight. So I want more. He started this round off right. See, all right, throw a couple jabs. Throw one, two, three. Come on, double it up. Let's go. Do more. Do more. Do more. I want to see more. Um, you can't win on intimidation alone, unless you're Mike Tyson. You can't really win. Ooh, I like that right there. Ooh, just dig in, just plant your feet, and just start letting those gifted hands go. I want to see it. I want to see it. Oh, that's a good little jab. It's a good little jab. Doesn't have to do a lot. Tapping the chin of your opponent at all is confidence building. You hit him once, you can hit him twice. If you hit him twice, you can hit him three times. Look at this though. Oh, when Usyk just starts letting his hands go. There you go. I want it. I want it. He feels it. He feels it. He knows it. That's a good counter shot right there. Sometimes you don't have to think too hard to counter. The minute the jab's getting to you, throw something back. Doesn't even have to be that hard. Again, the shots that do the most damage are the ones you don't see coming. And even if you see a proper counter coming, it's coming at just that right moment anyway. It's not like you're reading it as it's impacting you almost. It's not enough for you to do something about. I'm gonna give that round to Usyk. Same as the majority of the fight. I really like the work he was trying to do in there, but that was it basically in that round for him. Almost everything else I saw. Look at that. Look how he blocks that though. Just he doesn't have. You don't have to do too much, right? If it doesn't land flush, it doesn't land flush. He was ready for all of these. I don't think he ate that hook flush either. Um, just an amazing pedigree. Usyk has an amazing amateur pedigree. He's done everything right as a pro, in my opinion. Right? He's kind of like the modern day Holyfield to me. Uh, Moving up to heavyweight, not to move up just to say you moved up to just compete, but move up and contend. And did my screen freeze? Did we lose? Why did I lose the fight? Hopefully not. Well, that sucks. All right, let me see why the fight froze. All right, hopefully we're okay now. I ended up skipping just a little bit up, so I do apologize for that. That's a good shot. The confidence that Usyk has. See, you it's so frustrating to watch this though because it's like that whole sequence, right? Like AJ not only reads him right, paws away his punch, and then he doesn't do anything though. Like you can't take all those wins in a phone booth and then just not do anything with that opportunity. You got to throw one punch, just one. I don't care if it's a jab. Uh, Such a great shot. Reads him like a book. He just reads him like a book. A little bit of Terrence Crawford feedback there. I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but I'm not as concerned with him getting hit to the body. I'm just concerned with him not doing it. A period. Um, and in a way, it's just rest for both guys, right? Um, which isn't bad. And it doesn't matter, right? Like, yeah, you slipped, you tripped. It's still a microcosm of the fight to me. Again, like, you can take these 30 seconds and throw them in any round of this fight so far. It's Usyk doesn't need the center of the ring, and again, you don't need the center of the ring to dominate. Uh, 2 3 punch combinations. See the counter coming a mile away. Get out of the way. Reposition yourself. Show the judges in the crowd that you're here all night long, right? We'll bounce on those toes. The Ali shuffle. And look at him, right? He comes right back to work, right? Just throw on the coveralls, pull the tools out, just go to work. Like, it's beautiful boxing is all it is. Look at that. Look at that. Now he's starting to really let it go. When? Seventh, eighth round? But it's fine, though, because he's been doing the most work up until this point, right? So if you turn the faucet on now, look at that. Just let it pour on, right? And again, only one or two of those shots actually matter. Uh, those are good punches, though, from AJ. Yeah, I feel he's getting frustrated now. Some anger behind those punches. The dangerous thing is I feel AJ has to be fresh. I mean, the guy has barely thrown punches for large stretches of this fight. Uh, I just want to see more from AJ. Like, build off of this probing double jab that you do. Right there, that to me, bad sign, right? Like, he's willing to go lose balance. I applaud you if you disregard your balance and safety for spurts and you're effective when you can do it. But if you're not, or like what we just saw from AJ, like this winging body, this winging hook, right hook that sends you off balance completely. If you do that against the wrong guy, if you do that against Fury, he will step back and come in with it too so fast that he would just drop you because just the reach is there, Like, I'm just not a fan of that. See, right here, this is really good work. That's good work right there. Some of the best I've seen from AJ. Get him back to the ropes and just start letting those hands go. Those punches landed, right? But you've got to do more than that. He's got to do more than that. And again, those are busy punches. Not every punch has to hurt your opponent. So let me catch up my scoring here, guys, because I give that round to oops. I give that round to Usyk. Just a little bit more. Again, just do more for me. It's a lot of posturing. Again, a lot of it's fatigue, but I can't give you credit for holding the center of the ring if you're doing nothing but eating shots in the center of the ring. If you're moving around the center of the ring, but you control the distance, your opponent reacts to you and you're landing the more effective shots, there's no way I can give that round to the opponent. It's not responsible to do that. The only exception to that is if you land a haymaker that drops that guy in that round and he doesn't drop you back. That's the one exception. But, I mean, see, I don't like that. Don't rabbit punch out of frustration. You've had all night to hit the guy's face. You don't have to go for the back of the head at the end of the fight. See, and right now, AJ knows it's coming, right? AJ knows it's coming. And he's letting him do that in a way, right? He's letting him do that, and that's a tactic too. And the mental game comes in there too, right? Let me see what you've got. Bring your best, and I'm going to take it on the chin. I'm going to keep coming. That's how you have to be. See, again, if AJ's going to close the distance, you've got to do something when you're there. It's like going to the grocery store and buying absolutely nothing, right? You work to get there. You get all the way through the line. You get to the register. Walk out with something. Come away with something, right? That's what he's needed to do this whole fight for me is see some of these. See, this is good work. But the problem is, look, he's frustrated. Usyk knows his game plan at this point. He knows his pattern of punches, right? Like, AJ's just too predictable. Good uppercut, good punches. But again, like, good work, though. Huge miss. If it lands, it's a devastating shot. If you're Usyk, you have to be feeling good about yourself. But again, this is boxing. One punch changes everything. Can change everything. So we'll see. Good shots. Good shots. In and out. Again, he doesn't need to do a lot. In and out. Land a couple. Come back out. If that's working, why would you change what you're doing? That's how I feel about it. Make your opponent adjust. If you don't adjust to me and I can beat you with my two, I'm going to beat you with my two. Yeah, it's a fight. Yeah, it's entertainment. But guess what? You know what else they say? Win tonight, worry about looking good tomorrow. I believe that too. That's a great combination. Very, very Juan Manuel Marquez. I love when people mix up uppercuts and straights consistently. Bah, 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 That was a big shot. I'm sure Terrence Crawford was shaking his head at that body shot. That was a nasty body shot he ate earlier. That's how you know he's fearless too. And again, it helps when you've been in around 18 rounds with the guy, right? But like, eat the shot. Didn't eat it fully, right? Because he's obviously slipping back. And just keep coming, right? Like as if nothing happened. Bah! Let's come right in with the two. You don't just hurt your opponent physically, you hurt him mentally. See, and I like that Usyk's using restraint here because again, it takes one shot from AJ to change everything, right? So you don't have to throw caution to the wind yet. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Keep going. Don't stop. I want more. Give me violence. Give me carnage. Give me heart. I want it all. That frustration, too. It was a hard two if it landed, but if that's the middle of the round and you slip right under that thing, he's not ready at all to react. All right, it's a round I have to give to Usyk. I don't see how I don't. See, those are landing. The speed, there's a speed difference here. That landed from AJ, but there's a couple times where AJ throws that hook where it's just like Usyk could take a nap and wake up before it gets to him. What a shot. See, look at that. That's like 6 shots that just landed. Again, like one of those was a real dangerous shot, and the rest of those, shoe shine. But is that Holyfield? He's impressed. He won't say anything. We know how he thinks. But it's just beautiful boxing. Now it's froze on me again. Let me see what's going on. All right. I don't know why he keeps doing that. Another good shot on the chin. Good body shots, but again, it feels like it's too little, too late. You can't always gamble on that even Wilder, right? You can't just gamble on that one shot. It's just a stylistic nightmare for AJ. Like again, Usyk sees it coming all day long, all night long. That was a good body shot. You could tell. You could tell he felt that. And again, that's just speaking to his power. He wasn't even that wasn't even like a full steam punch. But again, anytime you get hit in the gut, you're not ready for it. You're gonna feel it. Oh, what an uppercut! That was a good response though from AJ. If that catches him, he's just a little bit easier to hit now. Usyk, yeah, and Usyk knows this, right? He's like, all right, this guy, I've had the speed edge on him all night. Now that he's a little bit slower, I'm just gonna just light him up. And so, and it kills me when I see this from pros, but it's just like AJ fell in love with that body shot he landed way back when. It's like, why can't you work behind the jab? Especially against somebody like Usyk. Usyk is this guy, I mean, Usyk's been boxing for as long as he's remembered, right? Like you're not fighting some guy who just turned pro after like 5 fights, right? Like I mean, it kills me. Like how just use your jab, come behind your jab. What he did right there, he could be doing that more often. But what he did at the end is what kills me because it's like right here, he insists. It wasn't really that part, but he insists like he'll throw a combination in the body. especially if you didn't land the first shot or the second, and it's like 4. Put one jab in there, just one, right? Why? Because you at least put the other guy in a position where he feels like maybe he needs to bring his hands up. What does that do? It opens up the body more, right? It's another Usyk round for me. Usyk. Forgive me. I'm one of the ways I'm butchering it because I keep saying it 2 different ways. So I'm sorry. I love that. I love that game right there. Get nice, get low, do a little feint, throw some shots. That's a good shot from AJ, though. Yes, everything Usyk's doing right now, AJ should be doing right now. Why? Because he's behind. For me, he's behind for sure. And if his corner isn't telling him he's behind, they're lying to him. Because there's no way. Yeah, AJ looks hurt now. He looks defeated. He looks hurt. Now, Usyk looks tired too at this point, and it wears on you. And the movement, the shots. Ooh, that was a good shot. I mean, we're talking about shots that'll take a man's head off. Like, that's good work, ref. It's good work. We don't want that. We don't want that. Oh my God, what a combination! I love when a guy's just willing to let his hands go. That speed where ba 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 ba. I don't even care if you're not landing hard. Just give me that speed and that fundamentally sound. Uh, Fundamental punches, right? Like fundamentally sound punches. Like throw punches the right way and do it fast. It's a big round. Again, who wins? We win. The fans win. So I scored it a little bit different last time, but I still end up only giving AJ 2 rounds. So I don't even need to say anything else. I gave him the 4th and the 5th. I remember the first time I watched this fight, I did not give him the 5th round. I thought I was maybe generous there. But I think I gave him an earlier round. So again, I mean, it's not unnormal. It's subjective in ways, but I believe in consistency, right? So I always score the same way, even though I may see a round differently. To me, Usyk, I don't want to use the word dominated, but he won decisively, I'll say. AJ just doesn't do enough, right? Like, and to me, that's part of AJ's problem is he doesn't. If he's not in the ring with somebody who will allow him to hit them, it's gonna be a long night for him. He's got the power, he's got the physique, he's got the size. I guess when he wants to, he has a charisma. He can also be really, really dull, but it's not enough, right? I mean, boxing, it's mental, it's physical. There's a lot that goes into it, right? You can become a champion as a flawed fighter. You can never become champion as, on paper, a fundamentally rounded, near perfect fighter. Um, Freak knockouts, never catch an opportunity, boxing politics, you name it, right? Mistakes outside of away from the sport, a lot of things can happen. But anyways, great fight, nonetheless. I tend to give AJ a hard time, but again, he's still an elite heavyweight fighter at this point. He still presents a challenge, a threat. I mean, he has power. He can hurt you. He has skills too. He's Olympian. So great fight. Great fight. A fight that I don't think it was a close fight, but I think it was a good fight. To me, Usyk is at this point only behind Fury. I have Fury as the number one in the division. Good fight overall. So that's it for today. That's it for tonight. I scored Usyk. I only gave AJ 2 rounds, the fourth and the fifth. So it wasn't even close on my card. Good fight. AJ needs to beat a name to stay a good name. We'll talk about that another time. To stay, in my opinion, at the top of the division. Usyk versus Fury is the fight to me. Probably the biggest fight in boxing to me. But I'll make a list, a wish list. Just an exciting fighter again, like I was saying before. He's, to me, this era's Holyfield in a way. He's when was the last time we saw somebody move up to the heavyweight division, not just to different divisions, lower divisions, and move through, move to a place where you have to stay and then contend, right? And into a weight division that's theoretically not your natural weight class. I think that could be debated, but yeah. So again, wrapping it up, we're doing a fight a day minimum through the month. The Garcia fight, I'll do the weigh-in tomorrow. Plan to, but won't promise to do the fight live. Just depends on a few things. One being me not getting taken down. And yeah, that's it. What to expect from the channel. I do rewatches, score rewatches, score live fights, just general boxing analysis, boxing commentary. Make recommendations and I'll pay attention to them. But yeah, just that, boxing, and when time allows, a little bit more boxing. So yeah, enjoy your. I'll see you all tomorrow, but enjoy your Thursday. Have a good evening, and I hope you enjoyed the fight.